It is Dockin' right here on your classic metal show with Without Warning, Tooth and Nail. And starting off the show tonight, we heard something from Queensryche with Take Hold the Flame. And the guy who has actually been in the flame as well as taken hold of the flame, taken hold of the mic, my good friend and partner, Chris Aiken. What's going on, Chris?
What's happening, man? How we doing?
How do you like making burn jokes?
I'm very offended and flabbergasted by those jokes. And
will you be quitting the show because of it?
I'm going to go lay back on my bed and crawl up in the fetal position and hide. Because God forbid you made a burn joke about something I actually went through.
I know.
Wow. That's terrible. You're a meanie.
I'm insensitive.
You're bullying me.
Yeah, pal.
You're not burn-centric. You're burn-phobic.
Right.
You're a burnophobe.
A burnophobe. That's a good one. I like that.
Fuck all these social justice faggots.
Well, we got some social justice faggotry to talk about tonight, but boy, I'll tell you what, you've had kind of an active week. I actually got out of the house a little bit this week myself, and we got some stuff to talk about. Yes, I need to wake up. I am really struggling today. Oh, did you take a nap after your Twitter war?
I think I woke up to have the little Twitter war.
Oh, so you slept before the Twitter war.
Dude, I'm going to tell you, I've been in bed since last night when I texted you.
Oh, yeah?
I didn't get up at all. I'm fucking so hungover. I'm still hungover. It's 24 hours later.
Really? You tied it on at the Queensryche last night?
Oh, I drank a lot.
Really?
I drank a real lot. It just... You probably can't relate to this, but I know many of the drunken assholes in our audience can. There's just times when you start drinking and it just tastes so good. And you just keep them coming and just keep them coming. And that was me last night. It was, we went to the Wing Warehouse, which is right by the MGM where Queensryche was playing.
Yeah, it's on the north end of the parking lot.
Yeah, well, we got there at 5:15 for an 8 o'clock show.
All right, so you got there a little less than 3 hours ahead of time.
Yeah, and I ordered. First, it was just me and Kelly, and then John showed up, and then our friend Joe showed up as well. Not Joe Cleon, a different Joe, although we did see Joe Cleon.
All right.
But so when Kelly and I got there, we just sat down and both got a drink. I just got a beer. She gets her Jack and Water. And I mean, this beer might as well have been Scarlett Johansson's pussy juice. It was so tasty and so perfect and so the right temperature of cold. And then it was just on from there. It just went right down. And then it was like, all right, let's start doing shots.
You know what it tasted like?
What's that?
It tasted like another.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it, man. But oh my God, it just was on from there. It was just shot after shot after shot after shot after shot. I mean, I picked up the bill and it was $170, I think.
All right.
Just for the drinks before the show.
I hear you. Well, I could understand that.
You know, so they were going smooth. We had, I don't know, 9-10 drinks, whatever there. And then we go to the whatchamacallit, the Roxino.
Yeah, at the MGM.
The MGM. And at the MGM, we're having more drinks. Now I've switched to Jack and Cokes. Had a couple of those. And then after the show, then we went back over to the bar and had another drink over at the bar.
Nice.
And I was still home by 11.
So you got your drank on.
I really did. I threw down quite a bit of booze last night.
Well, there you go. It's been a while since you've done that, hasn't it?
It has been. And I think that's why I feel like shit today, because I mean, I know it's the big myth that I'm always drinking or whatever, but I'm really not. I don't, when I drink, but But for the most part, I don't drink, like even during the show anymore. I don't drink beers during the show. I drink coffee or water or whatever.
Yeah, I know. I noticed. I think that's probably a tribute to the uptick in the show and the goodness of it.
Well, you don't think it was good when I was showing up every week hammered?
No, it was good, but it's even better now.
When I was chasing, remember the one night I was chasing some rot gut whiskey with wine?
Wow.
That was like early in the divorce process, but I had a bottle of wine sitting right here, and I was drinking the wine, and then I was chasing it or going the other way. I had this rot gut fucking whiskey, and I mean, it was some shit.
Was it Jesse James Dupree bourbon whiskey?
I think it was maybe one step above that, but which is barely a step above warm piss.
Right.
But I was drinking that and then chasing it with, remember, it was Barefoot wine. It was shit wine too.
Well, yeah, it's inexpensive wine. Yeah. I mean, Barefoot isn't terrible wine. It's just inexpensive.
Yeah. It's what, $4 for a gallon?
Well, not a gallon, but yeah, I mean, they're various Barefoot products, but I mean, it's not real expensive stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I kind of just stopped, I mean, if I do a drinking show with John, that's one thing, but when it's me and you, I need to be a little more
sharp.
Well, what it really was coming down to, and I guess maybe it's just age, was that I was getting to the 2:00 hour and I was just like, fuck this. I'd rather go to bed, and I listened back to some of the segments and you'd be like reading some segment. I'd be like, yep.
I'm ready to close my eyes now.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Eye in the clock going, fuck, 2:25. Can I make it 35 more minutes?
Right.
Fuck, 2:27. Can I make it 33 more minutes? So yeah, I quit drinking during the show about 1.5 years ago, I guess.
Right.
And I think I've had one beer since during the show, but I don't drink like at home. Like I know a lot of people, like you do. You have a cocktail every now and then at home.
Yeah, of course. I mean, but and I do during the show. I mean, after the first hour, I start having a couple cocktails. Probably from the time from like the 10:00 Eastern hour, I probably have one an hour until the end of the show. So I probably have 5 during the show.
Yeah. See, I can't do that. And I especially can't do that in real life. Because in real life, if I start drinking, even if it's here at home, I ain't stopping. Just like last night. Last night, I mean, I should have been a little more responsible, had 2 or 3 drinks, gone, enjoyed the show, come home. No, instead it's got to be 10 to 15 going down my fat gullet.
Right.
I have zero. I am a total alcoholic that just doesn't violate it as much as I used to, I guess. But yeah, I can't drink at home. I can't socially have a beer watching a baseball game sitting on my couch.
Yeah, once you start, you can't stop.
No, exactly. I mean, dude, when you don't really drink beer, but like when you drink wine,
yeah,
you go and you buy something that tastes good.
Yeah.
But when I go to buy beer or alcohol or something, I never buy like the regular serving bottle ever. If I go to buy beer, I buy the 30-pack. If I go to buy Jack Daniels, I buy the $75 bottle of it. It's fucking way big.
Yeah.
If I was to buy wine, I'd buy it in the big jug. I don't even think on those terms.
Yeah, you go for quantity, not quality.
Like I have friends they'll like hit the store on the way home from work and grab a 6-pack. That is foreign language to me. I can't even imagine. I can't imagine saying, all right, I'm going to have a couple beers tonight and only having 6 in the fridge.
Right.
All that means is that I'm going to drive half drunk to go get more. That's all that means is that I will jump in my car after downing a 6-pack and running to the store to get more.
Yeah.
And there better be a drive-through because, God damn it, I'm not going in.
Right. Well, there was years ago when I lived in an apartment. There was a guy that lived right next to me, and he drove one of those little Chevy Love pickup trucks, one of them small ones, one of those small Chevys. And every single day, he came home from work, had a case in the bed of the truck.
Oof.
A case. every night.
And he knocked it out every night by himself?
By himself.
Ooh.
You know, but yet somehow he got up and went to work the next morning, and then same thing, roll into the driveway about 5 or 5:30, had a case in the back, and I'd see him out the window. You know, I'd hear him pull up because this was, you know, one of those where the door to the apartment just walks right out onto the sidewalk.
Right.
Well, he lived right next to me, so I couldn't help but hear his little truck pull up, and I'd look out the window, and sure enough, reach in that bed and pull out his case. You know, he'd always drink Heinekens.
Right.
You know, so every single night.
Well, dude, I mean, you've really probably never done it. You've never gone and worked drunk, have you?
No, of course not.
You know, it's really not that hard.
Well, see, the thing is I've always been in a position to where I was either operating equipment or supervising people or, you know, whatever. And especially, you know, I've had a CDL since 1991.
Yes.
And if you're going to keep that CDL, you cannot fuck up, you know. So
right.
and I've never driven drunk, so that's never been an issue. But you know, as far as being responsible and going to work, and you know, I've never, you know, the thing is even in the 20 years you've known me, you've never seen me obliterated.
Never. Seen you once buzzed up real good on the show. And
I was buzzed once. Yeah, I was in a very celebratory mood. That was like 2000 and maybe 6.
Yep.
So that was like 13 or 14 years ago.
Right.
You know, but as far as being buzzed, that's probably the only time you knew of that ever happening.
That is I can't think of another time.
Yeah. So, yeah, the drinking is not my thing. I do enjoy a couple of drinks, but I'm not like an excessive guy. Just a couple and I'm done.
Yeah, you're definitely you're a responsible, like everything else in your damn life, you're a responsible fucking person.
Well, we've got a show of 24 years to show for it. And we've got nice equipment. We've got, you know, the best of the best when it comes to, you know, being able to broadcast over the internet or you know, everything we do is top flight.
Sure.
And we wouldn't be able to do that if you or I didn't have some sense of responsibility.
Yeah. Well, that's even when I'm a drunken idiot, I still work.
Yeah.
That is, you know, that's a factor of, I mean, music's bottom line. Dude, I did that magazine and stayed drunk. You know, that was my Friday and Saturday every single week, and Sunday was, you know, it would get to Friday. I'd finish my workload from my day job. I would come home with a bottle of Jack Daniels and a case of beer, and I would just drink for like 48 straight hours.
I'm surprised you were able to do that, being in the married situation you were in. I mean, didn't your former wife blow you some shit for doing that?
You know what? She probably did, but I was drunk, so I didn't care.
I mean, I can only imagine the whole, are you going to drink again?
You know what? She probably was okay with it because it kept me away from her.
Oh, really? Okay.
To be working, because I was working instead of, you know, being in her face. So, you know, she hated that magazine a whole lot more than she hated me drinking.
Oh, I know that's the case. Everything. Did you ever notice that something that's a passion of yours, whether it's the radio show or the magazine or whatever, there's always a problem with it?
Well, dude, it's a simple thing. I mean, in that relationship, it was that I put my attention everywhere else when she wanted the 24/7 attention.
Right.
That's why, you know, she's with a dude now that fucking calls her every 15 minutes. And but that's what she wanted. Dude, the day we broke up, we sat down on my couch and she said that she was divorcing me, and you know, the commonality of why was asked. I asked her why, and she was like, do you remember like 3 days ago or whatever it was, and I sat down next to you to talk about my day because she had been out at her job. And I said, yeah, I remember that. And she was like, do you remember what you did? And I was like, no. And she's like, well, you didn't listen and you didn't listen. And I kept talking. And then you pulled your headphones over your ears because you didn't want to listen to me anymore. And I was like, yeah, sounds about right. And she's like, well, that's it. You don't give me enough attention. I was like, well, I don't want to know everything, you know? And she was like, and I brought it up to her. I was like, when you go to the store, and this is something she used to do all the time, drove me fucking crazy. She would go to the store, like she'd go to Walmart or somewhere, and she'd spend, I don't know, $42. It was all shit we needed around the house. It'd be like, laundry detergent and, whatever, shit that we needed around the house. And she would come home, and I'd be working, middle of the day, and she'd be like, just want to let you know I spent $42 and I bought some shampoo and I bought some laundry detergent. And I was like, I don't fucking care.
Yeah, I know. It's just like, I don't really need to know all that. I mean, is there a point you're making with this, or is this just inane discussion?
Well, for her, it was I was so distant that she was just trying to connect.
Uh-huh.
But the truth was I was so distant because everything that I tried to do in my life that I liked, she fucking hated.
Of course.
And because of that, then like anything else, if every time I came on the show, we talked about the same issue, whatever it was, something that you fucking couldn't care less about. If every week I came on the show and was like, let me tell you what happened on Monday Night Raw this week.
Right.
That's something you obviously don't give two fucks about.
That's true.
So if I was to do that every single week, well, dude, you're not going to believe what happened with Kevin Owens. If I started that shit every week, it would not be very long before you would start tuning me out until I got past saying what I was saying. Right?
Yeah, it would become a O&A situation.
Yeah, exactly. It would just, we would, and same on both sides. When you're in a relationship, it's no different. When everything you like is told that it sucks, and anything that you don't give a shit about is fucking drilled into your fucking forehead, you get to the point that you don't care. She used to sit here, and I forget what the channel is, but it was like the religion network channel,
like
whatever.
Like TBN or Christian Broadcasting Network, or CBN or whatever.
Shit like that. And she'd be like, did you hear what Minister Jakes just said? Like, I give a fuck what Minister Jakes just said.
Right.
You should pay attention to that. He's talking about forgiveness, and that's something you never have. And
right,
blah, blah, blah.
right.
Oh, my God. Go away!
Yeah, you are the devil incarnate.
Yeah. This is why I'm pulling my headphones over my ears and listening to fucking Holy Wars. You broad, get away from me.
Very nice.
Oh.
Well, I've made it clear, before, and I'll just reiterate it again. I've been through dating situations, and the one thing that always seems to pretty much the beginning of the end is this show.
Yeah. Well, I will say I never ever understood why she had a problem with this show. She knew she married a scumbag, dirty. I mean, dude, it's not like I was Christian Chris that fucking flipped the script the minute I got married.
Yeah.
I was the guy. She met me in Korea. She settled me down somewhat in Korea, but she was full aware of all the different chicks I was banging, and that I was banging hookers, and that I was fucking drinking my face off every chance I got. I mean, she knew what she was buying.
Right.
And then she didn't want that anymore. And then, and I was like, well, tough shit. You fucking bought this Yugo. You're going to fucking ride until the wheels fall off. And it's weird because, we knew we had shit that we did not match with, but we had some shit that we did mesh with.
Right,
at
of course.
The beginning.
Well, there had to be some commonality there.
Well, dude, and it was so, and the audience will not get this. You'll get this 1,000%. One of the things we used to do when we were dating in Korea, there was a little theater like right down the hill from us, so maybe a half mile away. And we used to just kind of walk down this hill to this theater on Wednesdays, because Wednesdays were like dollar movie night or some bullshit. And neither one of us had any money. So we would go to the movies on Wednesdays and we would see movies together. And she was into everything. She was into like Nightmare on Elm Street and, whatever movies were out, Porky's 2 or 3 or whatever was out in 1987.
Right.
I don't remember.
Right.
What was out during that time. And I mean, within moments of getting married, movies were off the table. They were like completely off the table. You know, if I wanted to watch a movie, she wanted me watching the Left Behind series with fucking Kirk Cameron. You know, these religious fucking flicks. I mean, everything turned into fucking Jesus. It was like,
well,
Jesus.
the thing is she found religion, and it's just like, well, this is me now, yeah. So you need to change too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that was it. And that was a big part of it. She changed dramatically.
Mm-hmm.
And I was supposed... It was like she married the bad guy.
Yes.
It literally was like she married the bad guy, hoping to turn him into fucking Ward Cleaver.
Right.
And, you know, I was never going to be Ward Cleaver. I was more likely to be a ward of the state. I was never meant to be fucking that guy. Look at Pope in the chat room. If you read Chris's book, he was head over heels for her. That's very true.
Well, there, you know, I've been head over heels for people before, but that doesn't mean they were a good match for me.
Yeah, well, that's it, dude. I mean, I make no bones about it. I love Georgetta. I still do. Even today, you know, I mean, 7 years out of divorce, whatever. Would I go back? No. I think I'd rather go to the grave than go back.
Right.
But that being said, I would never, I don't know, let her be homeless, or if somebody beat her, if her current husband beat her up, I'd fucking take the judge and shove it up his ass and shoot him, you know. But, you know, I mean, that's just the truth of it is, you know, that's probably my first love or my main love, or, you know, the one that got away, or whatever term you want to get to it.
Right.
But that being said, it got to a point that day to day was just fucking terrible.
Yeah, I get that.
It was like having that job that makes good money, but fucking every second of it you fucking hate, and multiply that by like 1,000.
Right.
Because you can't really quit. If you quit, you give up half of your lifestyle.
Yep, absolutely.
You know? And that was, you know, the longer you go, at least you got out short term.
I did.
You got out a couple minutes.
Yeah, I got married in August of 84. And I was out by May of 87.
Yeah, you got out when it was easy. You know, you walked away. What do you give up? The spare tire in the fucking back of the car?
I gave her $5,000 in cash.
Yeah.
And the new car, but she was supposed to make the payments on it, and she defaulted on the payments, so I ended up having to pay off half of it and get it discharged.
Yeah. No, dude, I was 23 years married. You know how much I could have lost? I was 23 years married with a business.
Yeah,
with a business.
Plus kids. I know the kids didn't really factor in because they were adults by then, but...
No, we did right and waited till they were grown, and boy, thank God. But, I mean, she could have really fucked me. She could have really fucked me pretty hard. She could have taken half the business. She could have made me sell the house. You know, and instead it really was a situation where it didn't come down to any of that. It was like she wanted out, and I think she knew that if she did try to take all that shit, that I would tie it up in court for centuries.
Right, for centuries.
I would have. You know, dude, you know me well enough to know.
Tooth and nail, right, Chris? Tooth and nail.
I would have bankrupted myself twice to not let her move on with her life.
Right.
I would have absolutely been that petty.
But the thing is you were in that rage stage.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was during the height of your rage. So yeah, I can understand that, because you were going after everybody like a pit bull that anybody crossed you the wrong way.
Yep, it was definitely the angriest of angry Chris was that moment. It would have been really bad had she not, and instead we sat down like grown-ups and mapped out what she wanted, and basically it worked out that I kept my business and I kept my house, and she was able to take whatever she wanted to from the house and a couple of cars and, you know, a savings account.
Right.
I was like, okay, piece of cake. You know? That part of it was fucking simple.
Right. And how long ago has that been already? That's already been, what, 7 years?
Yeah, October of 2012, the divorce was final.
Wow, look at that. So, yeah, it's been, 7 years.
Yep, we broke up on June 22nd of 2012. 12.
Holy
So
cow.
it's been over 7 years. Just over 7 years since we broke up.
I cannot believe that 7 years has blown by that quick.
I can. My liver is finally starting to recover.
Right,
from that.
it's healing. You're finally healing.
Boy, and you know that, dude. The drinking was off the charts that year.
Yeah, it was.
I think I drank more that year than I did in Korea.
Yeah, well, you know what? I can only attest to two really, really heavy drinking nights. Was obviously your party at the not the Revolution, but the Hi-Fi.
Hi-Fi, yeah.
And of course, when you were here.
Yeah, and both were bad.
They were both bad.
Which was worse? I think the Revolution or the Hi-Fi or whatever had to be the worst.
Well, I can't. As far as being blackout drunk, I would say that's the worst. As far as being throwing up drunk, because I witnessed that was worse when you were here.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think I threw up too much after the Revolution. I should.
All I remember about your birthday party, and I was heading out of town, heading back home. And you're calling me on the phone in a panic saying, I don't know how I got here. Where's my computer? My entire life is on my computer. I don't know where it is. What happened to it? Where's my car? I don't know how I got here, and all this and that.
Yeah, I didn't know where I was.
Yeah.
I woke up at John's brother AJ's apartment, and I didn't know where I was. I didn't remember the last thing I remember about that night, honest to God, was introducing Voodoo Brother or Pit Riff or whatever the band was. Pit. Was it Pit or was it?
I think it was Voodoo Brother.
Voodoo Brother. But they weren't even the headliner. They were the middle band.
Yeah.
That's the last thing that I remember was introducing the middle band. And then I woke up. It was noon the next day. And I was like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah, that was definitely an interesting evening, and unfortunately there is no audio to document that.
No, fortunately there is. That would be one that I would I wouldn't delete it, because that's kind of the standing rule of the show, is that we don't delete audio no matter how bad it is. But oh my God, that was bad. Dude, that's the only time in my life that I've ever said stuff on the radio that I actually went on an apology tour to fucking. I did. I went to like 5 or 6 different people and apologized to them.
Yeah.
Because I was just so out of my mind. I apologized to John. I apologized to that girl at the bar, Jess. The one that
the one with the tattoos, but she kind of had that whole pinup girl look thing going on.
And apparently I asked her, she fucked Chris Barnes.
Yeah, you did.
I apologized to my friend Don and his sister Angelique, because what was I doing? Something about they had nieces there.
They came in right at the end of the night. They shouldn't even been in the bar, and you were making all kinds of lewd comments to their young nieces.
I was out of my fucking mind.
You were out of your mind. It was so bad I had to pull your mic. I had to unplug your mic because it was just getting so bad. It was going out over the house loudspeaker system, and I just unplugged your mic.
Well, I'm not gonna not blame myself, but I blame Billy for that night, because what a mistake to go and tell the bartender, give me as many drinks as I want.
Yeah, that it was all on the house.
Oh boy, and it was 42 drinks was the count.
Yeah.
I was fucked up.
Yeah, to say the least.
Oh, dude, that was one of the most drunks I think I've ever been in my life. The only other times I can think of was the one that I've told before on the show about at the MMA party, where then I had to go to the Home Depot the next day.
Yeah.
And I puked on the lady's back at the Home Depot. That one, and then one time in Korea, I got so fucking hammered playing quarters with Yukon Jack that I woke up like 2 days, like a day and a half later, bed all pissed in, just a fucking disaster. Lucky I didn't die, because I think I went into like an alcohol coma.
Yeah, you went into shock.
I probably did, because I literally didn't wake up until I was out Friday night. And I woke up Saturday, like mid-Saturday evening, like 6 o'clock on a Saturday.
Yeah, you're lucky.
Or on Sunday. Sunday, not Saturday.
Yeah. Well, you're lucky. You didn't have a John Bonham experience where you had alcoholic poisoning.
Yeah. It just, I lucked out, I guess. But, of course, if I would have died then I wouldn't have had to go through the whole burn thing. So, fuck you, God.
Wow. Did you hear what Pastor Luke said on the TBN network?
You're right. I'm sorry.
What's wrong with you?
Oh, yeah. But, yeah, last night was definitely a couple of drinks were drunk.
Yeah, so how did you get home? Did you drive, or did Kelly drive, or what was the deal?
What, are you kidding? Of course I drove.
Of course I drove.
5 minutes from my house.
It only takes a half a mile.
Whatever. It didn't.
Yeah.
I made it. I was okay. By then, I'd had a glass of water. I was good.
Had a glass of water.
Glass of water?
Yeah, I had a glass of water just to wash it all down.
Just to wash that alcohol out.
Exactly.
That's what I did.
So good. So you went to see Queensryche last night.
I did. Great time. Great. God damn, they're good. They are very, very strong live, man. I had not seen La Torre before, and I mean, you and everybody else that had seen La Torre before was definitely had sold me that it was going to be good, but I just wasn't really even comprehending how good it was. That dude, he's taken over the Tate. He's as good or better than Tate would be now.
Yeah, I would agree.
Just a phenomenal show. Good set list. Not the greatest set list, but a pretty good set list.
Did they play anything from American Soldier?
No, somehow missed that album. Not sure how they did that. They didn't play anything from Dedicated to Chaos either. I was really bummed. I was hoping for Hotspot Junkie.
Right.
They didn't pull that one out. They surprisingly only played one song from Mindcrime, which I thought that was unusual.
Well, I wonder if they have any kind of an agreement that they won't play too many of those songs or something.
Or maybe because Jeff is out there doing 30th anniversary of it.
Who knows?
But they played like 2 or 3 songs from the new record, one from Condition Human, one from the first La Torre record. And then they played, some cool songs. It wasn't all hits, which was nice. Like they didn't play like Another Rainy Night and stuff like that. They did not play. They played Empire, Silent in Tennessee. What else did they play? Jet City. What else did they play? Screaming at Digital they played last night, which was pretty cool. IMI they played, which was pretty cool. I had a good time. I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was damn good. Ripper showed up for a minute and jumped on stage during what? Lady Wore Black, or not Lady Wore Black. What did we open the show with?
Take Hold the Flame?
Hold the Flame. Yeah. Ripper jumped out on stage for that for a minute, which was pretty cool. It was just a good set, man. It was good. It was about 2 hours. Good show. I could do without their laser, or not laser, but their TVs. I don't. Yeah, in other videos that I've seen of them, they have like the TV stuff going on the stage. Well, at the MGM, they had those videos running like on the sides.
Okay.
So it was kind of distracting because they change colors and they flicker and shit. So you'd sort of be watching the stage, and then I kept losing attention like a fucking millennial, because the colors were flickering around, and my eyes kept diverting to see what just flickered. So I wasn't watching the show maybe as good as normal, but it was a good show. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot, man. It was fun.
Perfect. Hail and Kill, caller. You're on the air.
Hail and Kill. I was calling in, but then I enjoyed that Queensryche discussion. How many people were at that show, Chris? Would you guess?
I would say it was close to sold out. So what does that place hold, Neely? 2,500 or something?
Yeah, something like that. It's not a real huge place, but it's like, it's about 2,500.
That's better than the bands I've seen out here in L.A. that play the Whiskey, which I think is under 1,000.
Yeah, I think the Whiskey is like 900, I think.
Hey, there you go. That's really cool. But anyway, Queensryche is one of those bands I haven't seen in the new era like you, but you're kind of making me think I should.
It's worth going. It's definitely worth going.
Dudes, let me ask you, though, I have a lot of things I always want to talk with you guys about, but do you ever go to setlist.fm before a show? Because most of these bands stick to the same set list, throughout the tour, so there's really no surprises if you don't want to be surprised. Do you do that? Because I do. I kind of go like, well, if they're going to play this song, I may not be there for the encore,
I do a lot of time. If I'm buying tickets, because a lot of time, I'll say it for me personally, and this probably doesn't relate to most people, but most times I can make a phone call and get the tickets. So, a lot of the time I'll just do that because the ticket prices are so fucking ridiculous these days. But because of that, I'll wait and see what the set list looks like. If I don't get approved for tickets or something, I'll go to Setlist FM and I'll be like, well, do I want to spend, $200 to see these songs? And a lot of times I pass. A lot of times I will pass on a show because I'll see the set list. I'll be like, all right, I've seen 17 of these 18 the last 10 times I've seen this band. So I do that. And I don't give a shit about spoilers. The music's still good. I either like the songs or I don't. I don't need to go to a show to say, oh my God, they played that song. I expect
pretend it's still 1986 or something, like you don't know.
I expect them to play the songs I like. That's their fucking job. Doesn't matter if I know ahead of time or not.
100%. I do think, though, some bands, the bands who alternate night after night, might get more ticket sales just because you never know. Like if a band comes for 2 nights, let's say they're that big, and they vary their set list like Metallica was doing for a while, I guess you might be tempted to buy both nights. But if it was all published in advance, I'm with you. You might be like, you know what? I got a DVD that's better. I can watch it home with my own beers and other things.
Well, Queensryche's one of those bands, like, I don't care how good they play of a set, now, they're never going to beat the Operation Live Crime DVD. They're never going to do it. So if you're not a huge fan that just loves them anyway, you probably wouldn't go. You wouldn't go if you just like Silent Lucidity and Empire. If you wouldn't go and spend, I don't know, I think last night's tickets were $50 or $60 a ticket. You wouldn't spend that when you could throw in the Live Crime DVD and catch them at their absolute peak, sounding the best they ever did. For me personally, if I was an average fan, I would just watch that.
Oh, completely. On the subject, Maiden is about to start their U.S. leg of that Legacy the Beast tour. So we'll see if it's the same set list they did all of last summer in Europe. I bought tickets like a year ago, and it's finally coming up in September here in L.A., but for the most part, in a week, I'll know what the set list is, and there'll be no mystery. And it's cool. I'm going anyway. It sounds like it's one of those concerts where they're going throughout their history a bit. Sure. But I do hope they change it from whatever last summer was, because I've already seen that on YouTube,
Right.
Where are they playing in L.A.?
Oh, not a weird place, but a big place called the Bank of America Stadium, which is sort of newish. It's where a soccer team plays, not the Galaxy, but another one. It's basically right by the LA Coliseum, the USC Coliseum.
Okay.
I'd say it probably holds, well, it's like a baseball stadium size. It probably holds 15, and they haven't played in LA itself for a very long time. When they've come to the area, it's been 2 hours out in San Bernardino, which anybody in LA does not want to go drive to San Bernardino for 2 hours each way, no matter who's playing there, especially in the middle of summer. So this is going to be really great. I'm looking forward to seeing what they have to do or what they're going to play on this set list. But my guess is it's going to be pretty much the same one they did last time, and they have all kinds of crazy, pyrotechnics and lighting design for each different song that they probably aren't going to tweak with.
So,
what do you think?
So, what did you pay for tickets a year ago, and what kind of seats did you get?
That is a great question. I'm going to have to look that up. It's been so long. It's somewhere in my Apple Wallet.
I had it a year ago. I bought these tickets a year ago.
I've never done that before. It never used to be that way, too. Like, you remember back in the day, tickets would go on sale, I don't know, a few weeks before, and I would have my mom's credit card and the phone to Ticketmaster and just dial, 100 times. It's like 87, 88. Dial 100 times to get through. But that was only a week before the concert. It wasn't this year in advance stuff, but Maiden, to me, I haven't seen them since 92 when I wasn't that into them at the time. I'd fallen out of them. So this is going to be, it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to it. But I don't think they're playing close to you guys, right?
Yeah, I think they're playing in Chicago.
Not me. Not in Cleveland.
How close is that? Yeah, okay. Yeah, not in Cleveland. Well, I tell you, I think look, they're doing great, and I hope they continue to. But I'm tempted, and I'm sure you guys have covered this, but I'd love to hear like a discussion at some point of you guys going Maiden versus Priest, because in a lot of ways, you go toe-to-toe with them. Priest came before Maiden, of course, but throughout the 80s, you can kind of do a corollary between them, and then both their singers left, and both the singers came back, and now they're still both touring. But man, Priest, I wish they still had the original members, of course, not the original, the core members, whereas Maiden does, so it's maybe unfair to compare them. But when it comes to tickets and touring, obviously Maiden are at another level now than Priest, and in some ways I wish it wasn't that way.
Well, I think we actually did that at one time, if I remember. We may have done that a couple years ago, that we did a Maiden Priest challenge type thing, and I think you did that, Chris. I don't remember if you did it on Facebook or if we actually did it here on the show.
Well, I don't remember, but I'll say this. That's an easy one to me. Priest wins that hands down. I don't give a shit who the members are, just because Iron Maiden has forgotten how to write great songs. Period. I mean, after Brave New World, do they have a great album? I say no.
I might argue, but what has Priest done that's been great?
You don't think Firepower was
Retribution?
Good? No, Firepower
was okay.
That was a strong record.
Yeah, no, it was. You're right. It did what it needed to do, and it gave us the classic Priest sound, 100%. But are you still listening to any of those songs, or any of those songs in your rotation outside of the classic ones that you've grown up with?
I listen to Firepower about once a week still. Hell yes. I love that album.
I'm glad to hear that, man. All right. Well,
and even off of the last record, Redeemer of Souls, I like the song March of the Damned a ton. The only reason I don't consider that to be a great album is because it sounds like they recorded it in a wet basement. It just has shitty sound, but it's great songs. It just has totally shit recording value. But Maiden, I mean, I'm not trying to shit on Maiden and saying that that they haven't done anything great. Book of Souls had a lot of good songs on it, but like El Dorado or whatever that album was, that was total dog shit. What Matter of Life and Death? I know Neely sort of liked that one. I hated that. I thought that was crap. Dance of Death, if you take Passion, is that the one with Passchendaele? Whichever one had Passchendaele, take that song off the record and I don't need it. Because Passchendaele's like Passchendaele to me is the only great song that they've done since Brave New World. The only truly great in the same vein of the great songs of Iron Maiden's history. Passchendaele would be the only one. And a lot of people will disagree because it's long and it has that weird intro and it's, super progressive. But I mean, for Iron Maiden, I just... They became a formula band. If you listen to everything from Book of Souls on... the first song is always the cheap pop single, Wicker Man, or, whatever. Every first song is this cheap pop 4-minute song that they release as a single, and then it's just a bunch of plotting. We want to write Rime of the Ancient Mariner again, but we don't have that idea pattern anymore, and that's what they end up doing. It just their records bore me. They come out, I listen to them for like a month, and then it's like, all right, throw it up in the closet and it's gone. Neely, you agree? Disagree?
I agree. I mean, it became a lot of just a bunch of galloping noodling.
Yeah.
Every song.
I respect that, guys. And I ain't on the fan club. But no, that's cool. But I think, yeah, Priest gets the edge for the songs, is what you're saying. You know, the catalog of Priest overdoes the quality of Maiden, but particularly in the later years, Priest has continued to do what they do. And I could hear that. I can buy that.
If you took Nostradamus out of the Priest catalog, it would be a runaway winner. But unfortunately, they had that ass fucking of the fans that, you know, kind of brings them back to the pack.
Can I ask you, though, at this point, is Priest mostly, not in terms of like who you go to see, but Priest is Halford? Like if Halford for some reason ever wasn't there, there's no Priest, right?
Absolutely.
No
yeah, absolutely. There'd be no point.
Yeah. Well, God bless him, and hopefully he lives for 100 more years. Anyway, boy, thank you so much. I could talk about Stranger Things, too. Last thing, I guess what I want to say is they say next season is going to be set in 86. 86 was a huge metal year, so I hope they have some of the kids listening to metal. The only one they had listening to metal in the series so far was Billy, the bad guy. He was listening to Kill 'Em All at some point, which was awesome. But I hope there's more metal.
He had the poster on the wall.
Yes. But in season 2, he was like drinking beer and lifting weights and smoking to, I think, one of the songs too.
Well,
as you do, you know.
My big hope for Stranger Things, since it's set in 1986 when they still had arcades, is that they'll reach out to their good friends at Pinball PA to rent some video games. Give me some more of that Netflix money.
Exactly.
Hail and Kill, thanks for taking my call and enjoy. Well, have a great night. I'll be listening.
All right.
Speaking of that, did you see that Mindhunter announced their release date?
No.
August 16th, Mindhunter hits fucking Netflix.
Oh, nice.
And everybody better be watching that show since it features my video games.
Right, exactly.
I can't wait. I'm actually excited.
Yeah. Well, of course. And since he brought up the Stranger Things, I did see a little blip on the next season of Stranger Things.
Yeah,
they're talking that 11 might be responsible for the Chernobyl meltdown.
Really?
That's what they said. So they may be tying in Chernobyl accident to Stranger Things.
I did see the Duffer Brothers said they might end it after 4.
Well,
which I'm good with that.
I mean, we've gotten 3 quality seasons, and if they do one last good season, I'm with you. I don't want to see that burned out and just you know.
Yeah, and I don't want to see those kids being 35 years old pretending that they're 14.
Yeah, it's kind of like going. Did you ever see the It movies?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the kids are all growing up and shit.
Yeah.
It's like it's not the same.
Yep, exactly. I don't want to see that at all.
Yeah, the kids are getting long in the tooth already, so it really doesn't have the same appeal anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Yeah, I'm good with one more good season.
Yeah, I am too. Just not a shit season. They really, other than if Hopper is indeed still alive, they don't have. And what's wrong with Elle's powers? They don't really have anything else to tie up, so they could just tie it up, and then they can have her and Mike fuck, and then be done with that.
Nice. She has the power to raise his wiener.
She's got the power of everything else. Might as well have the power of the pussy.
Yeah. All right. Well, are you done with your Queensryche story?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't have a whole lot to talk about.
You did run into Tim though. So did you talk to him very much, or just?
Yeah. He came over. We were in the bar, and we were sitting at the bar, and Tim just came walking over, and I just said, "Hey, what's up?" And he came over, sat down, had a beer with us, and hung out, and. It was so, dude, and you've done this before too. And it's that awkward moment when like Kelly wanted a picture with Tim, obviously. And then John and Joe both wanted pictures with Tim. So it's like, he's sitting here and it's like, it's just awkward when people, when your group of people are asking your friend, hey, can I get a picture? And I didn't say nothing. I just was like, okay, I'll hold the camera.
Right.
I'll take the photo. But, it just, dude. I mean, I'm sure you've had that with Don a million times.
Well, I got some of those stories after the break for something that's going on tonight, as a matter of fact. So I'll tell a couple of those stories, and I'll tell my story about going to see Leonid and Friends.
Right. Yeah, but it is an awkward time when you're just trying to, I guess we forget that they're some kind of rock star-ish character. They're just guys we know.
Yeah, of course.
And it just is very, it's very kind of uncomfortable when your friends don't remember that. When your friends are like, oh my God, I got Jugulator and it fucking rules. Jugulator.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, stop.
Dude, you remember that time on that song where you sang?
Yeah, do you remember when you played the Agora at 87 and you were doing the fist bump? I was like, dude, come on.
Dude, I was like in the front row. I was like wearing the black Judas Priest shirt, and I was just like raising my fist to you, and you fist bumped me. Do you remember that one?
Remember, I pointed at you, you pointed at me. We had an eye connection. Dude, stop. Let the guy have a beer. Although Tim is funny as fuck. Tim, yeah, you know Tim.
Yes, I do.
Tim basically, he has a look about him. He's always got the monster hat on. He's always got the same kind of like a button shirt type of a thing that's like a endorsement type of a shirt thing, whether it's Monster or somebody else, right? Well, Tim, last night, he's wearing his normal stuff, his normal gear, but not a Monster hat. He's wearing like an Indians, it's like an Indians logo, but also like shaped in the Motorhead guy thing.
Okay. Yeah.
It's pretty bad, actually. So Tim comes over and he sits down and he goes, I'm surprised you recognize me. I'm in disguise. I was like, what do you mean? He points to the hat. He goes, look, it's not a monster. I was like, oh, yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
Oh, yeah, you blend.
Yeah, you just look like everybody else, especially after you were just on stage 25 minutes ago.
Right, of course.
In the same hat, no less.
That's funny.
But he was funny, man. He's like, yeah, I'm in disguise.
Yeah, I'm going low key tonight.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Tim's a character, man. He wants to come back on again.
Well,
I told him.
Tim's got the direct line. He can call anytime.
Well, I might go see him on Friday. He's playing an acoustic show Friday in Akron, so I'm thinking I might roll down there and check him out on Friday.
So what is he doing? He's singing what? All kinds of stuff?
All the hits. I don't know. I'd imagine he's doing whatever he normally does acoustic. I've seen him once acoustic, and he plays some Priest stuff, and he plays some, just rock songs that he likes and whatnot. So it's usually a fun time. It's a reason to be out.
So he actually does turn into Mark Wahlberg from Rockstar, where he's in a coffee bar just strumming his guitar and playing his grunge tunes.
Pretty much. He told me the reasons, and I won't say the exact reasons, but basically he said he's going on vacation, and the guy put some money into his pocket that'll fund his vacation.
Sure, I get you.
To come and play for one night. So he's like, fuck, why not?
Well, why not? I mean, the guy is a singer. He is a performer. I mean, is it a big stretch for him to sit down on a stage and belt out a few tunes?
Yeah, and Tim likes, Tim likes playing, and he's one of the few guys that's been in it as long as he has that still is very, very comfortable going out with the people and doesn't give a shit about the handshakes and the photos and the endless stream of people. He genuinely seems to enjoy that part, which I know, he's been doing it a long time. By now he should fucking hate everybody.
I'm with you.
But yeah, it was good seeing Tim, man. I always like checking in with him.
Perfect. All right, well, let's take a short break. I'll come back. We'll talk about my evening out because I had some weird fucked up shit happen to me, as usual.
Yeah.
As usual.
Right.
I can't go anywhere without drawing some kind of whack-ass attention I wasn't asking for.
You are the fucking asshole magnet.
I am. It was really bizarre, but I'll tell that story when we come back. So Since we're talking about Tim Owens, why don't we play something from him? Do you want to play something from his Judas Priest days or something from his solo days? Or
Beyond Fear.
All right.
Play Save Me.
All right. Save Me.
That's a badass tune.
It is a good tune. Tim, it's just a shame that didn't go beyond just one.
Yeah, I know. Sucks.
We thought we were going to get another one, and there was talk of it for years and years, and
it's half recorded.
Yeah,
there's 6 songs that are done. I keep telling Tim every time I run into Tim, including last night. I'm like, dude, you got to float me 1 or 2 of those songs,
right?
And he's like, I don't know if I still have them on what hard drive. I'm like, oh, whatever, dude. I know you know where they are. I know you have them. Send me one.
Yeah. I don't know where they're at. Come on now. I'm sure he does.
Sure he knows right where they're at.
Yeah. All right. Let me see.
In case he puts out another record. Not even Beyond Fear, even a solo record.
Right.
They're probably good songs that he can use. I mean, how much of a stretch is it for him to use something that he recorded with Johnny Capri and use it on solo versus Beyond Fear? He had Johnny on his solo record.
Of course.
So, not that big of a stretch.
I agree. All right, well, we'll play some Beyond Fear or some Save Me. So here's our good friend, Tim Ripper Owens, with his Beyond Fear project exclusively here
on your classic metal show.
This is Tim Ripper Owens. You are listening to The Classic Metal Show.